Did you? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Topics of the Town News. Welcome, Tony. You're my special guest today.
Not a problem. Thank you
See?
for having me.
Well, I appreciate somebody sitting in and trying to keep me honest.
Exactly.
And that's what it's about. So, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Today is May 16th, 2025. And like I said, my special guest, Tony Betancourt, is here with me. And this is Friday afternoon at 12:30 p.m. This is very quiet in the studio, so this is when we're doing the show. We are going out live. However, it's going to be on YouTube, I think either later today or maybe on Monday. And it's going out on cable, and it's going to be scheduled like that 4 or 5 days a week.
Okay.
And we'll be showing that for your pleasure.
Viewing pleasure.
I am here today, and I would like to report that I understand that the agenda for the Selectmen's meeting, which is going to be held on Tuesday,
I believe so.
day after the town meeting.
Exactly.
Town meeting is going to be held on
This
May
Monday at
19th.
7:30.
7:30.
I think 7 o'clock is the special town meeting, I think.
Correct.
Then 7:30 is the
In
regular.
Precinct 8, there's a special town meeting. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of attending the town meeting school
Okay.
that Pat Frazier
Okay.
holds, and she's the moderator. And it was a good discussion. However, at that meeting, I finally met the new town manager,
Oh, okay.
Jill Cahill. So if
She started last Monday, right? Is that right?
she started on Monday or
Okay.
Tuesday of
Okay.
last week. And Greg, if you can put up there she is. Now, on this picture, she looks like 25, 22 years old. She is not 22 or 25 years old. She's a very presentable individual. However, the first thing I noticed about her, and I even expressed this to her, she is tall.
Huh.
I am shrinking. I'm down to 5'10". My girls are 6 foot and 5'11". She is in that range,
Wow.
and she is 49 years old. Very well presents herself.
Okay.
And she was there to observe the discussions and the players
Okay.
that are going to be occurring at the town meeting.
Okay.
So the town meeting school by Pat Frazier is mainly to introduce the new members.
Right. I didn't even know it was on. I'll be honest
Well,
with you.
the thing is, you're not a new member.
No, I just got
So
reelected, but
You've gone
yeah, I've gone to
through
them before.
And what Pat was very precise on how things happen, and there is a rhyme or reason to every action or reaction at town meeting. So we went through, and maybe what I'll do is I'll introduce my favorite subject that was discussed last night.
All right.
And that is something that showed up in an article at Salem Evening News today.
Oh, really?
Buck Anderson is the reporter that contacted me, and he couldn't get me off the phone
Okay.
because I started giving him the whole dissertation of how these citizens' petitions are very explicit, and they're the one avenue that our residents, our voters, have to reach out to the town meeting.
It's to put on the warrant to have discussion about it, basically, right?
That's exactly what it's at. And we have, there's a group of people
Right.
that have been
There's-
involved in this.
There's three
Three
issues.
warrant
They're-
articles.
Basically, they're all about the same. It's to bring attention to what's going on in this town. Basically, that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely, and what has happened is that everybody on the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee,
Yeah, I noticed that on the finance committee. They were a little bit.
they were poo-pooing even
yes,
the
yes,
attempt
yes. I know.
of
I did notice
getting
that.
a citizen's petition that can be submitted
They
to
keep
town
trying to
meeting.
tell you you didn't do it right, or this wasn't the right word wasn't there, or something wasn't there. The main focus of the petition is to bring discussion to the table, to bring awareness to what's going on. As far as I'm concerned, I'll be honest with you, this town is going in the wrong direction. Okay, we're growing too much, too quickly, and our taxes keep going up.
Well, our taxes have been going up for years.
They're always going up, but Mark, lately in the last few, they're almost like you said, they're $100 from the maximum, basically. Okay, so
That's right.
Right now, they're growing it as fast as it can grow. Okay, they're gonna run out of our money pretty soon. Okay, that's the problem.
And that issue is as a result of planning to get every penny out of our pocket as residents because they don't want this thing to go away to the residents themselves where they pay a little bit less on each one of the bills.
But Mark, another thing too. If you take a look at this Maple project, okay, I guess they just cut the ribbon. I think last week. I'm not 100% sure, but that's a big project. Now that project, okay, I went to all the meetings for it. Okay, was not supposed to be that large. It was supposed to be 3 stories, and also was supposed to be 3 stories. But the third story was supposed to be pushed back so it looked like it fit in town. That's what we voted on. That's what everybody voted for. And then afterwards, I heard basically what they said. Well, you can't do it that way because it's going to cost money. Why did they propose it?
Absolutely. And
Why did they propose it? Why did they tell us this is what we want? What we voted on is not what we got.
And the thing is that they're continuing along that path, and now the state legislature, in their wisdom, has codified this approach of zoning to state law, which says you will do that.
Right, but it's
And-
crazy.
So what they've done is they've taken away our zoning preferences that we have had in our town because they are running out of space of 2-family and 3-family homes. And now the Maple Square project is 147 units with maybe 6 or 7 down on the first floor, which are supposed to be commercial. However, you're right. I went through the zoning amendment that was passed back in November of 2020, and that is the basis of what this proposal is all about. And it was confirmed again with some minute language that was passed again in February of 2024. So now, where are we? We are in a citizen's petition for 3 articles, and the articles are, and I'll read them in the order that they were supposed to be placed, not the way they were placed. And I even asked that question from the town moderator, why did we get these articles in reverse order? Don't you guys read these at all?
I think
No.
they want to do it to confuse you.
Well, there's a reason to everything.
That's what I say too.
So we have Article 38, which we are going to ask to be placed or reviewed first, which is to see if the town will vote to rescind the 3A MBTA zoning changes made by prior approved warrant articles. Warrant Articles 8 and 9 of the 2/5/24 special town meeting warrant articles 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 of the 11/15/21 special town meeting, and warrant article 5 of the 2/10/2020 special town meeting, or take any other action. So this is what I'm referring to. This was the start of the mess. And what has happened is what the planning department, town manager, and the board of selectmen have said, hey, you guys knew that this was happening. But we knew that it was happening, but it was not what was to happen. It was, it was card, charades at the end.
the cart before the horse, basically.
So this article went to town legal review, and they told us, oh my God, you're asking for the end of the earth.
of course.
And legal counsel said, you can't do this. And that legal counsel says that on every single article that we
Gets
place.
paid by the town.
That's right. And what happened is that was investigated, and Jim Morose and company submitted that, and we went and talked to the planning department, to the town planner, Brian Zaccali, and he was very cooperative. The thing is, one of the items that he mentioned to me directly is, how many people have signed your petition? I says, at least 10. That's what we're required to have. He says, well, that's only 10. What about the other 28,000? So what they're looking for is majority rule, which is appropriate, but
You could have had 250 signatures. You would give you a different answer, okay? That's the problem.
no different answer. They wouldn't.
It would be the same thing. So what's the
That's
difference? You know?
So what we have done, Jim Morose has done in this particular case, is basically said, if we have to go through all of these hoops to get to a resolution and rescinding of this article, then what we'll do is we'll remove it from the warrant and not push it at this time.
The idea is to talk about it. There's got to be something they can do. If they want to do something, they can do something, okay? There's got to be a way around it, okay? There's got to be something to do. As far as I'm concerned, with this Maple Street project, which, now it's there, but it's a huge building, okay? With all these people, we're going to have more police officers. We're going to have more problems, okay? Here's the question I have. And we're bringing in that much more money that can handle all this stuff?
They don't know, and they don't want to answer that question.
Exactly.
because
That's
been
the problem.
raised. Right. So, as a result of the confusion and the development of this Article 38, that is going to be presented,
Yeah.
but it's going to be withdrawn because we don't want to spend forever to discuss it.
So are you going to, we're going to talk on all three, basically? or no?
Well, then we're going to
I'm just
talk.
curious.
After that article is done, we're going to go to Article 37,
Okay.
which is another citizen's petition, because that has come about because of Article 38 and the denial by our management team and our legal counsel
Okay.
that we cannot do that. So we go to Article 37, which says to see if the town will vote to have the planning department discuss and incorporate zoning bylaw updates to specifically address the overdevelopment created by the MBTA zoning requirements of increased unit density and decreased parking requirements during the 2025 to 2026 normal zoning review, and update the public meeting or take any other action. What we're asking, what this article is asking, and this is submitted by Mr. McKenzie,
Okay.
and what we're asking for is, let's put it on the table with the planning department. Let's talk about it. Let's talk to the planning committee, because they're the ones that initiate any changes.
Yes.
The residents and taxpayers of this town have an issue with the density, the overdevelopment, the parking over saturation,
Yes.
and overpopulation in these areas. Where are the cars going to be parked?
They're gonna have to put a parking garage in. It's gonna become like Boston. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's where they're heading that way. That's why we're trying to make them understand that's not what we want in this town. We know it has to grow, right?
Well,
We want smart growth.
I have a strange idea,
Okay,
and I've had them before.
I understood.
You know where the parking is down by the fish market?
Yes,
Parker's
Right.
Fish Market and
that-
the church.
yes.
Let's put a 3-story garage right there, because they are the ones that are complaining about the overflow of the parking from this overdevelopment
gotta
that
be.
we have got into.
That parking lot's gonna be busy all the time. You watch and see.
So there you go. There's a 3-story parking garage that can be built right on that donated land.
Where's the money coming from?
Well, the developer will probably build one
Oh.
if they can collect, fees on it.
Well, you got a point there.
It's all about money.
Well, we know that. We know that.
So,
That's another problem. In
That's
other words, you're trying to say that whoever builds it is gonna have to collect the money for it,
well, no.
and the town has nothing to do with it. Is
and
what you're
tha-
saying?
That's possible. No, the town will always have something to do with it, because that is a land that is owned by the town.
Only a section of it,
and-
though.
What?
Only a section is owned by the town. I thought Parker owned a section,
Parker has a small section in front of his facility.
and the church has a section.
The church does not have any section.
Oh,
The town has been donated by Parker and the church and other investors in
I remember when
real
it came
est-
about. I mean, I'm just
and the land is for 110 spaces right now,
okay.
and they have been fighting over the relocation of the train station and occupying
I remember that.
3
Yes,
spaces,
yes.
and that was going to
Right now, that parking lot's been full. If you drive by, that parking lot's been
That's
full.
right. It is, especially during the day.
And they haven't even put anybody in the building yet.
Right. Well, they have their own parking lot in the
I don't
back.
think they're gonna have enough there.
No, they don't.
1.5 parking spaces for. I'm telling you, there's no way, man. That's
Well,
the other problem. 1.5 parking spaces. Where's the half a parking space coming from? Come on.
But you see, this is the discussion that needs to take place with
Yes.
the planning committee, planning department, selectmen, and the residents
Hold
of
it.
that community.
Let me tell you something. The zoning in this town has gone crazy. Okay.
Well, we've lost control over our
Yes, that's
zoning.
it. We used to have good people there because I'm telling you, 31 years ago, my father-in-law had 3 pieces of property, three lands. He wanted to put a build a 3-family house on it. They wouldn't let him. All we got was 2. With all the money he gave this town, and all the stuff, he got shut down. They wouldn't even let him do it. Okay. That's what I'm trying. He even had to put his own street in for it. Okay. Cost him $250,000 out of his pocket to put the street in to build a duplex.
That's right. Well, this
Today on that land, you'd be able to put 2 duplexes or probably 3 stories, okay, with no parking anywhere. It's ridiculous. The zoning has gone crazy in this town.
So this is Article number 2, which is Article 37, which is a mellow down, no teeth, no results expected. This is, let's talk about it. So we submitted that one, and after we submitted that one, there was a reaction from Town Hall again that you don't know what you're asking for. So I went and reacted to that comment because I know how citizens' petitions work. And the thing is that every one of these articles is going to have to be amended to go back to the original language, because the Finance Committee, in their great wisdom, they haven't asked any questions about financing or costs or benefits of any of this development. But they insisted on leave the zoning alone. That's the way it should be. So I said, okay. Then I wrote, and I wrote mine very simply, Article 36, which is a citizen's petition to repeal of zoning. To see if the town meeting will vote to direct the town to prepare the necessary articles and meet all other requirements to repeal zoning changed adopted to comply with the MBTA mandate or take any other action. Our biggest beef is not necessarily with the planning department, the planning committee, or even the selectmen, because I don't think the selectmen know what's really going on. Our beef is with our legislators because they have initiated and passed this law that says you will build this kind of density, 16 units per acre.
You're right. I agree with you 100%. You're right. But I'm not going to say any names, but one of the selectmen went to a lot of meetings to help to push for this stuff. I'm being honest with you, okay? I saw it, and I saw his influence to move this along. So what you're saying is true. Not all the selectmen did, but there was one that did, okay? And I'm being honest with you, okay?
Okay. I think we know which one it is.
Yes.
The thing is that this is not reflective of what the residents really want because, like we said in our election campaign, we need two responsible candidates to come out of the 7 to represent the needs of our town with authority. But they need to know what the issues are for our residents. It is great to be reelected, but then they need to know what voters need.
Right. And I talk to people, and everybody I talk to is kind of discussing with this town. You can't leave your house at after about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I mean, the traffic is crazy. Parking is crazy. I mean, we want development. We do, but we want smart development, okay? I mean, come on. This is getting really ridiculous. Just look, Betty Ann's went out. What happened with Betty Ann's sub shop, okay? What happened with that?
He lost his business because the location that they offered him.
No parking.
That's right.
The rent was through the roof. He couldn't afford it. It's going to happen with other ones. That's what they want. Everybody wants the big bucks, okay? I don't know. We're losing our community that way. That's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, I don't have all the answers, okay? But I just know a lot of people are not happy with what's going on. Basically, that's it.
Tony, so what we have right now, these are the hot articles at the town meeting.
Yes, it is.
However, I asked that question last night. Why are these citizens' petitions, who are very urgently needed by our residents,
You know what the problem is, Mark?
placed at the end of the warrant articles when everybody is tired and sick of listening to anyone?
They want to go home.
They want to go home.
But on top of it, they don't want us telling them what to do. They don't want to hear it. They want to tell us what's going on, and they want us to keep quiet. They want us to be little patsies. That's what they want.
They want to have their way,
Yes.
their cake and eat it. too,
Yes.
right? Okay, so
But they take no responsibility when something goes wrong.
that is a hot item on the town meeting.
That's probably going to be the biggest one.
No, you know what's going to be the biggest one?
What?
Is the damn budget. It's $150 million, and it's going to be passed in 10 minutes.
Right. That's the point.
10 minutes.
Yes.
And the one thing that I've noticed, and I know that I review the budget on and off every single year, this year we have an awful lot of savings accounts or pockets of money
Yes.
that are being
Yes.
tucked away.
Yes.
We have a free cash value of $13.4 million that are left over from last year's budget. And I have gone through the budget review.
And what was the answer they told you? They told you it was because of The landfill, wouldn't they tell you that? Most of it was because of the
Yeah, but
landfill.
landfill is part of the business. I mean, what are they? No, it's not. See, the biggest problem, see, they lie right there.
I know that, but that's what they tried to tell you, wasn't
But
it?
that is allocated right back into the budget. But look at this. Penalties and interest and other taxes. There was an overrun or underrun by $1.4 million out of a budget that was supposed to be $2.8 million. The budgeted amount for that subject was $2.8 million. It came in, returns came back to the town of $4.2 million,
Okay.
which means that there was a over budgeted amount of 1.4 million.
It was probably done on purpose, basically,
Well,
maybe.
well, listen,
Possible.
this gets better.
Okay, see?
This gets better.
Okay.
They have, let's look at a smaller one. Excise taxes.
Okay.
Excise taxes were budgeted to bring in $4.72 million.
Okay.
They came in at $5.515 million, which is a $800,000 underrun,
Underrun.
overrun of
Overrun.
receipts.
Okay.
So it was savings again. So the line items in the budget,
Here's the question I have. Are streets going to get any better?
no,
That's the
No.
problem. The excise tax was supposed to be to repair our streets, wasn't it? That's what I was under the impression.
it's supposed to be. Look at this. This is a good one.
Okay.
And all of these things are positive
Right.
for the town. However, there are deceitful approach in budgeting because what they want to do is raise the maximum amount out of our pockets from the real estate taxes, because all of these items are under budgeted because the state and the economy has improved such a level that we have $13.4 million of free cash, which is savings of what we did not spend or we over budgeted last year.
It's not going back to the residents, though. I doubt it, though.
No.
right?
Well, listen to this. Investment income. This is the interest and returns on investments that the town does, and it is a great approach. But what they have estimated is that it was going to be zero investment income because they didn't expect any percent return on T-bills or on 6-month certificates or a year certificates.
Okay.
But what came back, what we actually, no, I'm sorry, investment income was estimated to be $500,000.
Okay.
Came in at $2.5 million.
Whoa, they did real good then.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I looked at last year's calculation,
Okay.
and it was the same kind of a problem. So what this budget, and this is where the Finance Committee should come into play. This budget is rigged to the point where they maximize the amount of tax revenue from our residents, real estate tax revenue,
Yes. That I agree
because
with.
the other taxes are either from the state, from excise tax, from investment income, and that's where the $13.4 million item comes into play. And this is all identified in here. And what the Finance Committee is bickering about is citizens' petitions because citizens want a change.
They want us to keep quiet.
Well, they want us to go away.
Yes, that's what they want. They try to wear you out.
So I am very encouraged, and I believe the Town Charter Review Committee is retaining this citizens petition for the town of Danvers, and this is for action at town meeting.
They're not changing that, are they?
No, they have decided not to tweak it.
Well, I think that's smart because the reason being that's a say. If someone has a problem, that it's a good thing. You know what I'm trying
Well,
to say? You have to have discussion.
Our finance committee, some members, are tired of listening to the citizens bringing up their problems because they're wasting time. They have kids to take care of at home, and if that's the case, they shouldn't be on the finance committee. But it's a personal problem. I'll stick with it. They have been attacking me for years.
I know that.
But that's okay.
You
But
got to take us a badge of honor.
no, I'll stand up for our residents and for our children and grandchildren because that's who's
Well,
going.
that's the thing. Yes.
That's who's going to be paying the bills.
Well, that's the thing with me too. I mean, come on. I'm hoping that my grandchildren could live in this town. But the way it's going, I don't know. I mean, really, honestly. I mean, tax-wise, everything else. Like I said, it's it's a beautiful town. It's a good town. You know, I've invested 48 years in this town. You know what I mean? So really, I mean, come on. You know, we have to keep it a good town.
Well, I was at this Pat Fraser town meeting school,
Okay.
and one of the long-term town meeting members, Bill Bates,
Okay.
sort of advised us that he was completing his 30th year
Okay.
as a town meeting member.
All right.
He is very involved in the discussions. However, Bill is Bill. I mean,
Yes.
that's who we deal with, and he is sometimes so right on the point.
Yes, I agree with that.
And he comes out, and he's not afraid to tell them how
No,
it is.
no.
But a lot of other people will sit there and take it.
Yes, he does. He's helpful. But I wish he'd be a little more forceful on the growth that will go into this town. He seems to like the growth. I like the growth too, but I think it's too much, okay? We have to be a little bit smarter about it. Parking-wise and everything else. I mean, that's why. We have to keep this wonderful town that we live in. We don't want to lose it.
All right. So we have a meeting, town selectmen's meeting, town meeting on Monday,
Yes.
which is the 19th of May. And then we have a select board meeting
I
on
believe-
Tuesday,
I believe it's the 20th.
the 20th.
And I think they will pick the chair at that point, too, I
Well,
believe.
they're going to, yes.
I think so.
But they need to discuss the outcome of the town meeting because they are the ones that are responsible for all of those items that are going to be either debated, approved, disapproved, or whatever. But the Board of Selectmen is the board that includes and identifies
They
all
are the big
warrant
kahunas in
articles.
town, basically.
That's
okay?
right.
Town meeting gets, hopefully, town meeting will, if we have good discussion stuff like that, will make them think and maybe go in the right direction. As far as I'm concerned, that's what we're hoping for.
It needs a hammer.
Well, we know that too.
It needs a hammer. So,
Maybe a sledgehammer.
so what I'm looking forward to is that, as you remember from the last show we have a Danvers Select Board resolution addressing concerns over the Beverly Airport.
Yes.
And what has happened during the last meeting before the elections, I submitted and discussed the proposed resolution, but I asked for changes to it because at that time it had no teeth,
No teeth in it.
nothing.
Right.
So what I did is I sat down with the interim town manager,
Right.
Mr. Conley, and with Mr. Henry,
Aaron Henry.
Henry, because he was involved in the
Yes.
airport in the past.
Yes, he was. He was.
And I resubmitted the resolution as I saw it
And they did.
after the discussion with
Yes.
this Board of Selectmen.
Yes.
And what they were going to do is they were going to sign the one that was previously submitted, but with no teeth.
Right.
So what I did is I submitted and negotiated the language for that resolution, and that was done with the town hall, and I submitted it to Dan Bennett for inclusion in this week's or next week's
Next meeting.
Board of Selectmen's meeting.
And they're going to probably vote on it this time.
Well-
It was an unanimous vote last time. I'm hoping it's going to be this. I have a funny feeling. I'm hoping it's going to be unanimous this time too, but we'll see.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, and I have distributed this to all of them. The only one that's not going to be able to vote on it or sign it is David Mills,
Oh yeah,
and
that's
he
right.
was a very supportive individual
Yes, he was.
that
was,
wanted to have this language
yeah.
included.
Yes.
And we did whatever his comments were. And also, what I have identified to the Board of Selectmen is that this needs to be done now.
Yes.
We can't wait forever.
No, we've already waited too long. Look, please. There's too much going on over there. Okay, they want to build and they want to build, but the problem is they're all the way out already. Okay, they're all the way out as far as I'm concerned. They've already maxed out. Okay, they don't have any more room over there. Okay, what they're doing to us is unbelievable. You know that. I mean, really, honestly.
Well, I just to give you a little point of reference.
Go ahead.
I have in front of me a Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Danvers, 2025 application for certificate of registration of the North Atlantic
Okay.
Airways gasoline station, basically fuel station.
It's not North Atlantic anymore, though, right?
Well, no, but that's what it's being renewed as.
Oh, they're trying to stay under the old.
They're
Ah.
playing their
Okay.
own game.
Yes, he changed the name.
And this was submitted on March 21st of 25.
Okay.
And this is a special application. This is a renewal of the existing application.
Okay.
I've raised the issue to the Board of Selectmen. They ignored it because that fuel station is unprotected from any dangerous situation where it can blow up. There's two 10,000-gallon tanks of jet fuel sitting there,
And they're above ground.
and they're above ground. They don't even have an earth berm around it. And the problem is that on the Beverly side of the airport, we are currently chasing the plume of fuel that was
Released.
spilled
Yes.
on the grounds, and that fuel is now traveling towards our groundwater.
Yes, it is.
Beverly's groundwater, our groundwater, doesn't matter. It's in the ground system. So I raised the issue about this. I have not pursued it any further, but I believe that this needs consideration by the fire department.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, if they go along with this expansion, they're going to have to move those tanks anyways, right?
That's the whole point. The whole point is that before they build the gigantic
Right.
hangar,
The proposal.
the proposed hangar of 300 feet long, 135 feet wide, and 47 feet high,
The house, two jets, they say.
baloney,
No kidding.
baloney. But
There's at least 6 going out of there a day now.
this is for, yes, 20,000 gallons of jet fuel, jet airport fuel. Must be, this is a $200 application. I mean, come on, people. What are we doing? There is no enclosure.
And you notice where the fuel is. On the Danvers side, not on the Beverly, huh?
That's right. Well,
that goes
Beverly
Beverly.
side is already contaminated.
We know that already.
So they don't want
And
to.
they have Wyndham Lake. They got to be careful, Wyndham Lake.
That's right.
The ladies of the lake already have cost them over $500,000, I believe, in a while back when they discovered some contaminated soil a while back on the Beverly side. Okay.
That's right. So what we're doing is we're pursuing these different ways of getting to resolution of the issues.
How about the PFAS? That's another problem.
PFAS is another one, and now PFAS is the plastic contaminants that are in the water, and we already have in Danvers, along Route 114 towards Middleton, we have a pump
Yes.
and a area that cannot be used because it's contaminated to
That's
a
the one right
level.
alongside 114, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. It
well,
is.
well, one. I don't know if it's well one or which one they call it. I'm not
That's
100%
right.
sure.
And the thing is that we are not doing anything about this contamination. All we're doing is watching how far it goes or where it goes.
And they've been spending money on this, and they're looking into it. But I mean, they have a problem over there. That place is contaminated. Okay, and even the water that runs off that property, that's another problem. Okay.
Speaking of contaminants,
Okay.
I have a new issue that's crept up. I have the Creason Cook
Oh yes.
contaminant Superfund site,
Yes. Yes.
which is located
On Water Street, if I'm not mistaken.
off water
Out in the back, I believe.
and down by the Polish Club.
Right in that area there.
And even now, the Polish Club is going to be using the Polish Club parking lot for the employee parking of the people that are going to be remediating the site.
Really? When
So
is
what-
that? Recent starting right away?
Well, they're supposed to have started in April.
Okay.
I have not seen it. I have asked for an interview with Derek Golden, who is the project manager for this particular project.
Okay.
And he is the one that was project manager back in 2018 or 2019, because that's when this project was supposed to go.
Okay. They did a part of the project already. They did it down by. Then they do some of this project already.
That's a different project.
That's a different project.
That's
okay.
totally different. This is the land below BJ's.
Okay. I know what you're
And
talking about in the
towards
back there.
the Polish Club,
Okay.
and all the way out to Water Street.
Okay.
So,
That's a big plot of land there. right?
well, they're talking about a $40 million remediation.
Really?
Oh, yes.
And the state's paying for that? I hope. Well, federal government's
Well,
paying
the
for that?
federal government is
Wow.
paying for that. However, I have been trying to get an interview with Mr. Derek Golden,
Okay.
who works for the federal EPA,
Okay.
and he's blown me off twice already because there are questions that people have been submitted to me, because I noted that I was going to be talking to the EPA, and I was going to go into Boston. They don't want to talk to the public anymore.
No, they don't want to talk. The reason being they're afraid to get caught in something or whatever. Who knows? I mean,
Well,
it's
the
always that way.
That thing is public relations.
It is, but I mean, it's you see how it is. The same thing like when you're in town. You can't, I mean, sometimes you can't get a straight answer.
Well, the biggest issue on this Creason Cook Superfund site is that the remediation is only going to be cleaning out the areas, very hot spots
Okay.
of the area. However, the remaining is going to be piled up on site,
They're gonna cap it.
and they're going to have a 40-foot high berm, and they're going to cap it with clean dirt, and it's going to be there forever.
Are you serious?
That is not the plan that was originally put ahead.
When they say cap it, I thought it was supposed to be in a cement.
No. Just dirt, 2 feet or 3 feet of clean dirt.
So if anybody digs it up, you'll be moving it around.
You're already moving it around.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the groundwater,
Right.
the tidal water that's coming in and out during that area,
Okay.
is contaminated. So the thing is, it's a superficial Superfund site where the dirt is not leaving the site, it is remaining. And I just like to report one thing that John geez, how quickly you forget.
Well, exactly. Well, we're getting older. That's what happens.
My God.
John who?
John Toomey.
Okay.
John Toomey and I did a show back in 2018
Okay.
when this first came about.
This has been going on for a long time.
Well, this one has been in abeyance because they didn't get any money. Now, all of a sudden, they have $40 million sitting there, and that's not going to clean the site. So what they're doing is they're doing some intermediate testing, and I've even been noted that some residents have seen people in white suits and boots doing some digging and
Okay.
exploring of the area, which is right. However, I don't think they are going in the right direction as the residents themselves have pointed for them, because I think the residents want to have this thing removed and sent out of the area.
That's what they
because-
did with the last project they did down here on.
Well, the condos are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the condos were built on top of the dirt that is contaminated. So what they did is they went around the foundations,
Okay.
dug out whatever they could, and capped it with clean dirt.
Okay.
And they say, oh, that's clean now. So those people are living on top of a arsenic laden wasteland underneath their foundations, but they don't know any better. But just to report, John Toomey and I did a show back in 2018, 2019, identifying 24 different sites in the downtown Danvers area.
Just Davis?
Just Danvers.
That much?
24 sites that were in addition to the Superfund site.
Really?
But they are now either under dirt, under foundations, or they have never been remediated, or they never have been tested. Because they were facilities in Danvers that were tanning leather,
Okay.
they were fabricating leather products, and those had waste in their foundations.
Back in the old days, they used to bury that stuff. That's what they used to do.
That's
That's where the
right.
problem is.
That's right.
You know?
And the thing is, I am very surprised that the federal EPA, and I'm going to write a letter to them, federal EPA is not responding to a question and answer session, which I think the town people deserve.
Did you go? They did have a format at one of the schools, didn't they? At the
Yeah.
Riverside School.
They did one last month
Okay.
in Riverside
I didn't go.
School.
I heard about it. I didn't make it.
I was there. It's
Okay.
filmed. I have it on film. So I.
Did you get any questions out of that?
They skirted the questions very well.
Oh.
So what they do need to do is address some of the questions.
All right. Here's the next question: is the town involved in this or no?
The only one that I know that's involved in it, and he is going to be looking out for the town interest, is Stephen King,
Okay.
the town engineer.
Wow.
And that's probably where I will have to go, because I don't want this thing to become a citizen's petition again. I want the town to respond to this, because that's deserving of the residents.
Well, hopefully this is not going to cost the town any money, but they got to keep an eye on it to make sure it's done right. Basically, that's what we're hoping for.
Well, the issue that I see is we're going through the capping of the dump, and this is costing the town $300,000 to $400,000 a year to verify and confirm that the gases are coming out, they're getting burned off, the capping surface is solid, and it doesn't penetrate the water in there.
They're not going to put this in the horseshoe, are they? They're not going to put some of this dirt in the horseshoe, are they?
No.
I hope not.
You know what? That's a good question.
I don't know. They're going to fill the horseshoe up, right?
But that's where it's a $12 million project right now that they're
Yeah.
collecting. And the thing is, it's a moneymaker, but
Comes
what,
along with problems.
what are the unintended consequences? And the thing is, nobody ever thinks that far ahead because they're going to be dead and gone by then. And the thing is going to become another Superfund site similar
Hopefully
to.
later on we don't find out that people getting sick from it or something like that. That's
Well,
another problem, you know?
There has been a lot of communications from the people surrounding the Creason Cook site, and they have reported cancer contamination from the contamination that's been happening. Nobody's listening. Where's the health department in this town? The only thing that they want to do is stop us from going outside without a mask.
Oh, smoking a cigarette
Or
outside.
smoking a cigarette, right. Well,
But you
it's-
know what it is too? They got to be careful too, because I'm telling you, could be a big mess. That's why they don't want to put their hands in there. Probably, who knows?
Well, the thing is that I have worked in the environmental field with Stone and Webster Engineering, and we had our own unit that went and disposed of contamination, primarily lead, paint, and things like that. But this is worse.
Yeah.
And
But
the thing is that they're leaving it on site.
I know, but I thought. I mean, don't get me wrong. See, that's why I don't know about this stuff. But I thought when I said capped it, I thought that you had to have a square box. You put it into a square box and you covered it, so nothing could. And that's what I thought. In Peabody, they did something like that at the park in Peabody. I thought they capped it. I thought that's what they did. They built a cement thing. And
No,
they
they probably lined it with plastic,
oh, okay. Is that how they do it?
and then they let the ends go along the edge. I mean, they're big pieces of plastic.
Okay.
And then they pile up the contaminated dirt,
And they just keep it like in one corner.
and they keep it in one. This is supposed to be a mound that's 40 feet high, and I don't know what the diameter is, but it's going to be. The plastic is supposed to stop the leakage into the groundwater.
Otherwise, that's not going.
And that's long gone, guys. So the thing is, I think we have to ask more questions. And I think they will have to come back with more questions.
Here's the problem. You're going to get any answers.
Well, the thing is that we are not getting our town engineer involved because he doesn't want to talk to anybody about this because it's a federal agency.
Right.
Our health department doesn't know anything about it. And they have the health committee, and what do? They just want to cut back on us having our freedom of movement. So, we are coming to a 4-minute mark, Tony.
Yes, exactly. I noticed that.
And the
That's going
thing,
by quick.
what I want to do is, I have one other item that I want to introduce.
Go ahead.
And this is a special report that I acquired from Peter Zook.
Oh, okay.
Peter Zook has come up from his assignments. He's been in London.
Is he
He's
retired?
been-
Is he retired now or no?
He's never going to be retired.
Oh, I mean,
He loves what he's doing.
well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know.
He used to be in London, then he used to be on Big Dig.
Yeah, I
He
know that.
used to work for Bechtel Corporation. Now he's working, I guess,
Yes.
for himself, or I don't know. But-
He started off with Pelletier and Millbury. Look how far he's gone.
That's right.
Look how far he's gone. I mean, that's really unbelievable. That's, you
And
know.
he's a gentleman and a
Oh,
scholar.
please, yes, he was good to this
And-
town.
And the thing is that we're sort of entertaining this report that he was able to provide for me, and he wanted to come on the show
You should bring him on the show.
and explore how this town meeting, not town meeting, but town charter
Okay.
was developed as a result of actions that took place in 1948,
That far back.
1949, and 1953.
Okay.
Annual town meeting, March 15th, 1948. This is page 10.
You had documents on that?
Yes, I have 111
Wow.
pages of stuff. This was the committee of individuals look at the chart of responsible people that they have, different departments, different.
That's the people we got to thank to start at this town.
Well, this is a informal history of the town manager form of government in Danvers by Willard Alphin. Now, I will look this over. This needs to be read from page to page before we start even talking about it.
And you probably got to read it twice. I mean, me, I'd probably have to read it 4 times.
I do, because
'Cause
there's so much information.
Right, that's the thing, you know.
And this leads me to the Town Charter Review, Town Manager Act Review that has been taken place by Sally Calhoun.
Yeah, we have to thank all those people for doing it. I mean, you got to give them credit. You have
Well,
to give 'em-
what I
they are.
understand is that they have a preliminary report
I did hear that.
going to the selectmen at this meeting. I personally, my feeling, this needs to be dug a lot deeper.
Well, I don't think they're going to bring it up until next year, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no, I understand that there's a preliminary report
Okay.
from the committee
All right.
going to the Board of Selectmen this Tuesday
Oh, really? Already?
already.
Okay.
Now, I hope, and I've submitted my comments to them, but there are many people have submitted comments, and hopefully they're incorporated, but this is going to need a lot more discussion.
Oh, no question about it.
And I hope the selectmen will not just say, okay, you're done.
Yeah, no.
No, you're not done. We need to explore. The key thing is, what do we want our town meeting to do? Do we want to become a city, or do we want to stay as a town? Do we want to have a elected town meeting or open town meeting? Because that's where it came from.
Right.
This
We
is
have,
what
we have an elected town meeting right now, right?
right now. Yes, 149.
So, what is an
to-
open town meeting? Anybody can go,
Yeah, anybody can go. Topsfield does that.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't, I'm not
And
worried about it.
that's something that we'll be looking at, because that's the next big package of information that's going to hit us.
Here, let me
And-
thank all the workers and all the people that do stuff in town that that really don't get any money. We really have to thank them for keeping our town going.
We don't want any money. Stop this. Salaries are already too high.
Just thank them. That's all. I don't know if I gotta do that.
Good night, good afternoon, good morning, Danvers, and listen to the show and give us a yell if you have any comments. Thank you.